y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 249. Oh my goodness.
Or 349.
Did I say 249?
You did, sir.
I keep throwing us back 100 episodes. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, if you want to go back, we can go back.
I know, right? No, we need to keep it moving forward. You're right.
You got to look back to move forward, baby. You got.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. 349. It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router, Ed Placencia, Chris McCracken, of course, and as always, we are talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. Tim Router.
Yeah, man.
What's going on with you?
This week is the last day of school.
Yeah,
for little Miss Piper. I can't believe it. Thursday is there's a half day. It's officially her last day. And so begins this great summer adventure of camps and trying to figure out what to do so we can keep getting work done. Yeah, exactly. But it'll be good. We'll have a good time with it.
Daddy wants you to learn how to jimmy this lock.
That's right. Can you help Daddy code in HTML today? Let's do that.
Exactly. Say C++.
That's right. Yesterday, kind of hilarious and awesome at the same time, was her talent show. I think I told you guys that last week. She and 3 other girls did a little dance routine to, oh God, this hurts my heart to say this, the Macarena. But then I mixed it in with the Cupid Shuffle, and it did really well. All the kids loved it. And so all those participatory style songs are usually pretty good. So they did well. She had a great smile on her face. They did super. So I was a little nervous, but it was good. And in general, most of the kids did fairly well. So, I mean, it's a first grade talent show. What do you expect? So
exactly.
It was good though. It was a lot of fun.
You can't compare that stuff to YouTube. Like I've learned as I've become a parent.
Absolutely.
Like I used to like go to talent shows like, oh snap, who's gonna kill it? And then nobody ever does.
Now
you're like, what's wrong with these children? The kids on YouTube are killing it all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, don't compare it to YouTube. This is a first grade talent show. You got to keep that bar super low.
These are normal kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, YouTube has ruined talent shows and people walking down the aisles at weddings.
Oh yeah,
you got to really raise the bar now.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We are realizing how regular we all are because of the internet.
We are average Joes. So and I'm fine with that. So it was good. Man, my nephew Liam is graduating from high school this weekend, and it's freaking me out. I can't believe it.
Is that the cup and ball kid?
Yep.
Yeah, Kendama kid. Yes,
Kendama. Yeah, I knew it had a real name.
Fun fact with him, he is going to Japan.
What?
For 2 weeks
for cup and ball
in July for cup and ball for Kendama.
Wow.
Does he need a chaperone?
I know, right? I was going to say, oh my gosh. When he told me that, I'm like, oh my gosh, Gabe is going to
be right back
out.
It's being held at Nintendo campus.
Oh, exactly.
Jenny, I gotta go do something quick. Toby said, something.
I gotta run for 2 weeks. I'll see you later. I'm so proud of him. Like, so he's been doing Kendama for so long. He's a professional with a company called Soul Kendama, and the owner has been to Japan and goes back every once in a while. And they're going to go for 2 weeks, not only to kind of do some stuff for the company, but also I think the World Kendama Championships are held there, and it's on an island like an hour away from Tokyo. But I think they're gonna. I'm so excited for him. I think that's so amazing. Like he practices and does his kendama like every day since he was like 14.
Yeah,
and so he's super stoked.
And he took to it really quick.
Yeah, and he's really good. Like he's super good at it. So
until he gets to Japan.
I mean, maybe he'll be inspired. I don't know. I think he's competing. I think he's competing. I'm not entirely sure, but he wants to do it just for the sake of doing it. But I mean, this is like Kendama was born and raised in Japan, so it's like, all right, man, these Americans coming in, let's see what you got. But it's really cool for him. I'm super happy for him. This weekend's is going to be great, and I can't believe he's graduating. And then next week, the whole Router clan with nieces, nephews, we all go to Disney.
Oh,
so I'll be
when's
down
that?
in Disney next week. We leave on Memorial Day, and I didn't realize it was creeping up as fast as it was, but it is. So we're all going down, and it's going to be a lot of fun for the family, and we're going to have a good time. So I will be recording from the happiest place on earth next week.
Awesome.
And so
Nice.
it'll be really great. On the gaming front, man, I watched the Raising Kratos documentary with Cory Barlog.
There you go.
Holy cow.
Yes.
That was so good.
Dog,
yeah, it
I
was.
gotta watch it.
It's shot so well. Everything about it is awesome. And that kind of led me down a rabbit hole. Ended up watching Grounded, the making of Last of Us 2. Not
Yeah, I've
Last
seen
of
that
Us 2, Last of Us 2, TOO. And
Also.
so,
Yeah,
right,
as
also,
well.
and as well. So yeah, it caught me going down this rabbit hole, and I love that stuff. It's just so amazing to see how these guys pull it off, and like especially with God of War, it was really incredible. And then to see like him looking at all the reviews, and you can just see his relief and his release and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just super special. I got a little choked up watching that. It was really, really cool. So yeah, Gabe, please watch it. It's awesome. Man, Chris, you inspired me to get into Hearthstone this week, but
Wow.
I tried to log into my Battle.net account, and it said I couldn't remember the password. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'll try. Entered my email address, and they're like, there's no email address by this account. I'm like, huh? So I went ahead and re-registered just to see if it would trigger something and to see if it would say, oh, there is actually an email address in our database. And no, it did not happen at all. It started me all over with Hearthstone.
Really?
Like, hey, start the trial over.
That's
and I'm
weird.
like, oh, this is not good. So I texted the boys. I'm like, I know Chris has usually with your user ID, there's a number attached to it. And I think that's the full ID that Blizzard uses. So I'm like, can you screenshot or can somebody send me the ID number? Man, I've never had to do this in a game. I actually had to contact tech support and be like, okay, here's what's happening. My email address is linked to an old account that has all of my Hearthstone play, all of my cards and everything. Yet when I tried to log in, it wouldn't, there isn't a password. It says there's not an email address by that. So when I signed up, did that override that? What happens? Blah, blah, blah. So I got back from them yesterday and they said, your account was apparently compromised. But he said, but we can retrieve the data, give us a different email address, and send us a copy of your driver's license as verification and ID, and we'll try and put it all together.
And your social security number.
Right.
Wow. Exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
you got
on
fished.
the one hand,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I need
right?
Piper's blood sample.
Exactly.
Right.
On the one hand, I'm like, that's pretty awesome, and that they need to be that secure. On the other hand, I'm like, all right, my driver's license floating around Blizzard somewhere. So I mean, not that it's that big of a deal, but yeah. So I was like, oh man. But they were super cool about it, and so I'm just waiting to hear back and just see what's happening. I mean, as much as I love Hearthstone, I don't know if I'd want to start all over again because I got I have some decks that I really enjoy. I was going to start with those and then kind of work into the new decks and everything. But hey, Chris, thanks for inspiring me to get back into Hearthstone because I'm super excited to get back into it. But B, how weird is that somehow my account got compromised? And I didn't get any email notifications or anything, but I haven't logged in a little while. I think since December.
You should probably log into Overwatch too because it uses the same account. So
I know.
If that was compromised,
I'm
whatever
gonna
was
wait
unlocked
though.
in there is probably.
Because what's going to happen is if I try and do that, it's going to kick me back to the login and then we start all over again. So I'm going to just wait and see what they say. And if I had it that way, I told them, here's the new email address that you can use. And I'm assuming they're just going to have a reset password. And so I'll just use that password until I get in and I can change it if I need to. But I'm not doing anything on Battle until I hear from them. Hopefully they're usually pretty quick. Like they responded to me within like 4 hours. And so they said it's going to take a little bit to try and retrieve this data, but
Interesting.
We'll get it. But yeah, I've never had that happen to me before. So that was really interesting.
I can't figure out why someone would compromise a Hearthstone account because you don't have like your credit card tied to it or anything, right?
No, there's nothing.
But I wonder if you could have it though. If somebody else does, they were just probably checking.
Yeah,
if they were
and they didn't go into the details of what it was what was compromised, or I don't know. So like they just said, hey, it looked like your account was compromised. So I think it reset, and since you used that same email address, it created a new account. And my theory is I don't think it overwrote overrid the data, because like that user ID that you get with the number at the end, that's really, I think, a main identifier for them anyway. So if a new account comes up, it would be a new number, which it was. There was a different number. It was like T router number and then a different number. So I'm hoping that they have both of those numbers. They can remove the newest one that doesn't have any data and kind of reset the old one. So yeah, it was really weird and interesting, and now I really want to play Hearthstone even more now. So it's like, bring it on. So it'll be good. Man, as we had talked last week, I knew it was going to happen. I finally started Spider-Man. Yeah, baby, I'm back in. And
freaking, there you go.
Console's nice and warm now. Everything's great.
There you go.
Holy crap, this game is fantastic. It's so much fun. I'm only like, I want to say 2 hours in, but man, the swing mechanics, like that must have just on a technical, that must have taken months to kind of figure out, because you have like the world at your fingertips of where to go. And like, as long as there's an icon there, it's just like, boom. And then the swing physics and everything. Oh, so
welcome to the party.
So cool.
Your eyes have been opened.
I know I'm late, but holy cow. At least I'm here for the cake, or at least a piece of cake at the end. So yeah, it's super great. So I'm unlocking, like I'm in the unlocking towers, getting backpacks phase. And just like, if there's any crime in the area, like getting down the fight mechanics, it's a little tricky, but I'm trying to like do some of those extra bonus objectives, like, throw 3 people using your web and all that other stuff. So it's going to be a fun summer. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
It's going to be great. That and Clash Royale, and I'm done.
Of course. Chris McCracken.
Yeah, so things over here are they've slowed down a bit, especially compared to last week, because we're shooting on location. The beginning half of the week, we wrapped up that shoot and everything seemed to have gone well. So at the office, we're just into the editing phase. So we shot 3 different projects on 3 different days. And between the 3 of us that are at the office, we're kind of divvying those up and working together. They each have different deadlines, but we're trying to sandwich them all together and each kind of work on our parts of the story, so to speak, each time. So that's pretty much all that I'm doing work-wise. And it just, head down, like just throw on some music and get it going kind of thing. Makes the day go by super fast, but it just feels like I'm not really going anywhere, because I'm just working on this one project the whole time versus various ones, like when you're on a video shoot. It's been raining a lot here lately. Which I feel like, this is kind of the season, happening a lot anyways. And then up in Oklahoma, where Stacey's family is, there's been a lot of storms coming through there. Fortunately, there's, at least in the areas where us and our family have been, there hasn't been any tornado issues, but there's definitely been a lot of tornado activity in and around here. Just luckily has kind of missed where us and our families are. But because it's been raining so much, there's not a lot of getting out of the house. The one time that we did get out of the house was this past Sunday. So, as you guys might remember, we had been doing like a 5K, or actually it was really Stacey's goal. She wanted to do a 5K a month for an entire year. And this month was the last one for that goal. Man. She actually did 2 this month. She did one a couple weeks ago that I did not participate with. And then we did our final one, this coming soon. I say our final one, really the final one for the goal. She actually has another race coming up in June, but it's not like a 5K. It's one of those, Spartan run kind of things. So I don't think it's quite a 5K distance. But it might be.
That won't be hot at all.
Well, it's going to be in Cowboy Stadium, and I believe they AC it. So, but you run upstairs and do all these obstacles, so the distance isn't as long, but you still have all the other kind of stuff that you're doing. That's cool. She's going to be doing that, and then it's possible we may do another 5K right there at to kind of crescendo everything. On July 4th, there was one that we did last year. We may do that one as well. And then Stacey's definitely ready for a break. She's like, I definitely still want to throw in a 5K occasionally, but I don't want to do this once a month kind of thing again. Her knee needs a little bit of a break. It's starting to kind of bug her, especially when we're doing these races. But it was good to get it done and wrap that all up. We have our little medal walls got just full of all these different medals from all the 5Ks we've done this year. So that's
awesome,
cool.
though.
That's great, man.
And then the only other thing, because it was raining a bunch, like, okay, let's go see what's going on in Netflix. And I don't know how long this show has been out, but there's a show called that Stacy had told me about. It's a documentary series called 7 Days Out.
Mm-hmm.
And they have basically there's a subject. Like the very first episode is about the dog show in New York, Westminster.
Yeah,
or
the
whatever it's
Westminster
called.
Dog Show.
Yeah, that one. So basically, it starts following a couple different people 7 days out from the show, and they follow each of them up until the day of the show, and that's
awesome.
crescendos there. But one of the ones that was on there was about some teams that play in America for League of Legends. And it basically led up to their like semifinals, and then whoever wins that semifinals gets to go and represent America at like the big world tournament that they're going to have, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that episode in particular was called, but it's fairly obvious if you look through it. But 7 Days Out, it was a really cool. I've been on this documentary kick, which I really like documentaries anyways. But ever since the Raising Kratos thing, it's just like, all right. And so when I saw that there was one about, I was like, League of Legends, let's do this. And man, I thought, which I knew, like League of Legends can get ridiculously big, and in Dota, especially overseas. But even here, it's like, man, like I thought Overwatch was hype.
No, sir.
They get hype.
Not in comparison.
This League of Legends stuff, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm just like, geez. I mean, Overwatch was crazy good, but man, when it gets to that level, it's gonna be totally off the chain. It's ridiculous.
Definitely.
How crazy it gets. So I highly recommend that. 7 Days Out, and episode, I don't know, 5 or 6 is about the League of Legends little documentary. On the gaming front, I've kind of put Sekiro on the side for a little bit. I didn't get to jump in any this week. I did plan to, but all my attention for the next couple weeks, for the most part, is going to the Overwatch anniversary event.
Yeah.
Because it finally dropped, and there is so much stuff I want to buy, and it is so hard for me to not just spend my coins and buy what I want and know that I need to be patient. Because it's possible some of these will drop, and I will not have to use my currency, and then I can save it.
The last thing you want to do is buy a legendary and then have that thing drop as a dupe.
Right.
Well, I think that a while back, and maybe Ed, you can remind me because I haven't been playing it a little bit, but I think they changed it to where, I mean, you basically have to have everything before like duplicates happened again, right? And something like that, and especially when it comes to like legendaries. So I'm not concerned. I actually thought about getting a few. I thought about getting a few of the. So you're okay. But back up a second. Like you play a lot and have almost everything. Are you saying you've gotten duplicate legendary skins of one you've already gotten?
Oh yeah.
Like all the time?
I know that they definitely did a thing where they said that the dupes won't drop as often. They used to drop all the time. Like early Overwatch, it was crazy. And I know that they've pulled that back, but I do feel like I've heard people still getting duplicates of some good stuff. It's just not half as much as it used to be.
I've already gotten the new May skin, a duplicate of it.
Really? The one that just dropped? Yes.
The one that just dropped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ed playing Overwatch.
So
that's crazy.
But I feel like when they made that announcement about not as many dupes for a bit there, you were like, oh my gosh, I can feel it. And then it kind of like, it felt like it slowly recorrected itself back to what it used to be.
So, but like, let me ask you this: do you think that's because, like, I don't know, maybe something changed, or do you think it's because you've played so much and you have so much of the stuff that, to a person to your level, it's like, well, you basically have everything, so really all we can give you is kind of dupes. Obviously, not with this brand new event. That's crazy.
Right. It does feel like that. At the same time, it's like I don't have everything, so you would think after a while I would, but I don't.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's. Case in point, the main reason why I'm trying to hold off, but I know that at least on the legendary stuff, I've gotten some duplicates of smaller things, but legendaries, I can't tell you the last time I got a duplicate of a legendary skin, which granted, I don't have quite as many of them. So I might go in and just buy like 1 or 2 that I really want anyways. And like the dances, I did get the Ash dance. That's the only thing from this event so far that I've earned, besides like maybe sprays or a voice line that I don't really pay attention to. I haven't earned any of the skins, so I might go buy the Winston one and then the other 2 dances I haven't got yet, just to, in theory, air quotes here, I know it's not a foolproof idea, but pull them out of the possible loot pool. Because now that everything from every event is available this go round, I'm assuming I'm going to get little to no duplicates, because there's a lot of the events where I didn't get hardly anything from them.
Chris, is the Winston one the gargoyle one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like that one too.
That's my favorite skin, definitely in this event. That's pushing on one of my favorite skins of the whole Overwatch. Like, I really, really like that one.
It's a nice skin.
Yeah. I mean,
so during this anniversary event, they'll drop skins from all over, right?
It basically unlocks the loot pool from every event they've had the entire year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
so not only could it drop, but you could also use your coin to go back and purchase something from one of the previous events if you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
so cool.
Yeah, the only thing is that anything that released this year since the last anniversary, it's still the full cost as when it ever dropped. So like a Halloween skin that you really like that came out this year.
Oh yeah,
it's still going to be like 3,000 coins or whatever if you wanted to purchase it. It's not a reduced rate, but everything else is reduced rate like it typically would be as the event comes back around. So
they're smart because then they still want you to play and they still want you to earn your coin, and that's smart. Oh.
I mean, Blizzard knows that pouring into not looking at a game as old has worked really well for them.
Absolutely.
And so if you have the base, the player base, you need to continue to support it. And obviously they've seen monetarily that really pays off.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wonder, do you think they have some like brand new hidden skins for Ash and Baptiste, who are more the newer characters?
They do have a new skin for Baptiste, I believe, in this event. I say that I think.
I didn't look at the list.
But none of them are hidden. Whenever you go to the main page, anytime a new event happens, it'll say hit. At least on PlayStation, it'll say like hit right trigger, and you can see everything that's new in that event, even down to sprays, voice lines, everything.
They released it all. Oh,
yeah. Okay. They make it pretty apparent, so you know what's new, and you're not busy digging around. They don't want you to miss something, I guess, and they want you to be able to figure it all out. Besides that one, though, because it just dropped, been playing still a lot of Hearthstone. I found that I play in Wild almost exclusively.
Oh,
and a lot of other people, at least in our community, when you're in the chat, seem to stick to Standard. And the reason I like going to Wild is because I don't like my cards being taken from me until I can't use them anymore. I want to be able to use whatever card I want to use. And in Wild, you have access to any deck that they've ever, or any expansion they've ever done. Whereas in Standard, it's only classic cards. And then the most previous 2 expansions that those are able to be in the rotation. And I just don't like being forced to buy more if I don't want to.
Totally agree. Yeah. Cause there are some cards that I use a lot in my deck and I can't use them in classic.
Yeah, so I don't stick to Standard, but it seems like I'm the outlier. I tend to go into Wild, because in Wild they have casual and ranked as well, so if I wanted to dabble with ranked. Granted, I don't do very good in ranked. I was telling Jared Orr the other day, I said, I think once or twice I've gotten to like 15.
Yeah,
but
me
for the most part, it's like I get down to 20 to unlock the card back for that season, and then I bounce between 20 and 18 maybe, and I go back and forth and back and forth, because I'm not that great. I just enjoy, building crazy goofy decks and pulling off those, because I really go for the sick play that's just oh my gosh, even though 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work and it's going to be foiled because maybe someone's anticipating it or they just have the good counter to it.
And sometimes it backfires on you and you're like,
exactly. But when you pull off that sick play, we're like, oh, I just turned this minion into a 20/20 and then bash you in the face once. It's like, I just have fun doing that. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
much fun.
Yeah. So a lot of fun with that. And then I will be getting back to Sekiro, but it's going to have to wait, man. Overwatch event. I'm going to be playing that.
I'll
probably still sneak in a little bit of Apex here and there, but that Overwatch event, I'm telling you, man. So good.
I like it. Edward.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you, man?
Well, like Tim did, we watched Raising Kratos this week, and there were more than a few occasions where I teared up. And
oh yeah, man.
A good story told well is a good story told well, regardless of what the story is about. And Sarah was as into it as I was. And she knew nothing about the game.
That's what I was going to ask. That's awesome.
And, and just, when they talk about the struggles or something they went through or, something like that, Sarah was right in there and just, with her, kind of a thing back there. And,
that's so nice.
Yeah, it was really, really, really well done.
Oh. It's shot so well.
It is. And it's surprising how much they shot. Just, moving into a new building. It's funny how much coverage they shot of that. Moments like that where the rest of us look back and think, oh, wow, that would have been cool if I'd taken more pictures or taken a video. And these guys took all the pictures and video you could ever want. It was
took
really
all
cool.
The pictures. Yeah.
Yes. It was a nice, relaxed weekend. Did a little bit of work on the front porch. But a lot of it was spent watching TV or playing games. Of course, playing Overwatch. The new event, like Chris mentioned, jumped in last night, and we had enough for a 5v5 custom deathmatch with friends, and that was just it was
That was
mayhem and fun and just, Sarah, it was funny because Sarah said, "Oh, were you getting upset near the end of the gameplay last night?" And it's like, "No." And she said, "You got a lot quieter." And I said, "Well, that's because when I was louder, we were playing against other people who were in the chat. So it was like, oh, Gabe, you just got me. And, oh, I almost got you." And at the end, when people had to hop off and trickle off, it was just the 6 of us playing against random people.
Yeah, and we're trying hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fun. It's funny, Ed. Number one, thanks for just having the group going and doing all that. But like, I am not drawn to playing against people I know. Like what we did last night, I'm not drawn to at all. And I still had so much fun. Like,
oh, good.
I was
good.
like, this is a good time. This is a good time. I was like, all right. I'm down with this right now. I had a great time.
That's I'm glad. And someone, I can't remember now who told me about it, but someone had said, "Oh, there's a setting in custom games where after every game, the game will auto balance the team depending on people's performance." So every game, it was a different team. We were all mixed up, and it was a lot of fun.
And it actually balanced well.
It really did. There were some close games that we had.
Man,
that was a lot of fun.
And also the whole whatever the workshop thing is should be out on console. I don't know how that ties into custom games, but that should bring in some new craziness as well.
Oh, is that on and popping in there already?
I believe it is.
It was part of the update with it was supposed to go live out because it was on the PTR or before. So I believe it's out for all platforms now.
I think that's right, because I think when I was making the custom game, I believe I saw a workshop area that you could go into and mess around. I picked up because it was free on Xbox, Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Ooh, nice.
And I just played the first maybe hour or so of it, and it really made me nostalgic, and it really made me miss being an assassin in Assassin's Creed. The last couple iterations, you were technically an assassin. You assassinated people, but you didn't have the hood and the secret guys and stuff and I kind of like being in that I don't know what I would call it, that almost like that fraternity of assassins.
Did you play Brotherhood?
I believe I did. If it came after Black Flag, I did.
No, it was
Black
before
Flag.
Black Flag. I'm just asking, did you get nostalgia and go back to Brotherhood? Because I would have driven up to Indiana and kissed you for that. Because that's still one of my favorite. You want Assassin, you want a bunch of game, exactly what you're saying. I'm like, oh, did he play Brotherhood?
Yes, that's what I was
get the car right now.
Just thinking when you said it, I was like, man, Brotherhood was all.
I'm sorry,
those
continue.
things.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, it's just I miss having the dagger that's in your sleeve type of a thing. I'm like, man, I kind of miss being an assassin. I don't remember if they were Templars or they were fighting the Templars, but I just kind of miss all of when you think of Assassin's Creed, what you think of rather than the new shiny version. And it just made me a little nostalgic for what it used to be.
It's a good point, man. Yeah.
But it was fun. I don't know if I'll hop back into it right now, but I do love those Assassin's Creed games. And it was kind of nice to find one that I hadn't played before and know that there's one out there waiting for me when I do want to get back to it.
Nice.
Do you like it? Because this is the twist where now you're a Templar, right? Isn't Rogue that one?
I don't even know if I got that far into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah, you said an hour. Yeah, you probably not. But apparently Rogue is the flip. So you are now chasing assassins as a Templar.
Oh, nice.
You are as a Templar assassin.
I like it.
I've heard from other folks in the community that they did enjoy it because it was a totally different perspective. So,
see, that's pretty cool.
And the dude's Scottish.
Oh,
is he Scottish?
That I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
That's cool.
Something like that.
Jeez.
He has an
Scottish or
accent.
Irish, one of those. I don't remember. I know he's not English.
But it's funny, Ed. You're totally right because these, the past two Assassin's Creed games, you're kind of an assassin, but I feel like you're more, I don't know, just like you're more of a mercenary than anything, than an actual assassin. And like looking back at some of the other ones, I mean, Brotherhood for me was definitely, that was my first Assassin's Creed game. And that's the one where I was like, wow, it's all like, there's a lot of stealth. involved. You know, they really emphasize the hidden blades more, and then on top of that, you can hire other assassins, which is really cool. And yeah, they don't do that as much anymore. I feel like it's just more about I mean, which is great. It's more about the story, and it's more about the huge world that they always build, and they have for the past two. But this one, yeah, that's really, really cool. I love that you did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. I remember when I played the more recent Assassin's Creed game saying it doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. It wasn't a diss or a slight. But now I kind of realize I wish the new ones did feel like an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's a really good point, because they, as much as they've tried to stay true to the Assassin's Creed, they've definitely branched off, man. It's more, to me, it's more of a combination of Witcher and like all kinds of other stuff and it's definitely different. Yeah. I mean, it's more polished. Right. But really good point though. It's really interesting.
Yeah. It was nice to go back and visit and just be reminded of what the game was earlier on. And then finally been playing, of course, Days Gone. I'm still loving that game.
Good.
In a lot of those I think I'm about 48 hours into it now.
Wow.
And in a lot of games that are like that open world thing, you think you're getting near the end, and then you realize, oh, no, I sure am not. And, you know, kind of hit that moment in the game just recently. And so, you know, there was a moment in Far Cry 3 where all of a sudden the map got bigger and you realized, oh, I'm not done with this game yet. And so you kind of, there's a point you reach where you're like, oh, wow, I'm not done with this game yet. I don't know how far I have to go, but it's kind of cool that I still get to keep going. You know, it's not one of those, oh no, I'm not, you know, it's like it's a good feeling of I've got so much more to do. And I kind of touched on it last week. I was reading a review this week where they talked about how the game's not doing well because it's so repetitive. And it's one of those things of, I don't feel that because I'm having so much fun.
Yeah. Really?
You know? It's not a grind at all. It's not like, oh no, I have to go clear out another camp. It's like, oh sweet, there's another camp over there. I want to go get some, you know.
I love that, man.
Yeah. The story has, man, I thought the story was really digging in and taking a turn here and there, and they just keep on pushing it, and they keep on twisting things and bringing in new characters, and it's so well done.
So it doesn't feel trite, does it?
No.
Okay,
it's
that's great.
Yeah, quite the opposite. You know, the story goes in a place where I bet this is gonna. Oh no, really? Okay. Oh wow. And it's just been a lot of fun to discover what I have no idea what to expect around every corner, and I love that.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So the more I play, the more I'm loving the game, and I can't wait to get back in later on today and play some more. It's been such a fun ride, and I'm glad that I don't think I'm near the finish line. So it's been a good time and a good week.
There you go. That sounds good.
Mr. Patillo.
Yeah. Man.
Bring it on. What you got? You're home, right?
I'm home. I'm in the same boat as you today, actually. Day of recording, Wednesday. Today is Amara's last day of first grade. And
oh, sweet.
So we're heading into summer as well, and just talking about all the things that we're, gonna try to accomplish and get done. The deck starts this week. I've talked about it a little bit on the show about we're getting a new deck out here, and so super excited about that. Like, me and Judy, the thing that we say to each other every day is like, is the deck built yet? Like, we just cannot wait for, at least in our heads, what this deck is going to be and what it's going to provide. So we're hoping that we're not disappointed.
Well, and you have to be excited for, I can't wait for me to not have to build this deck.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
That'll be fun. It'll be the first thing, one of the first things in this house that have changed that I didn't have to do myself. Yeah. So I'm going to jump in there and help just because I've never built a deck before. And so I just want to kind of be involved, but there'll be a team of people here. So
that's
but
awesome.
I know the guy that's the lead contractor. And so,
oh, nice.
And so hopefully, he'll let me get in where I fit in. I'm not going to be like jumping in and doing something I've never done before. So that'll be fun. So we've got demo day on Saturday. So that'll be demo day is always fun. Ripping stuff up and and
You
throwing
totally
it away.
need one of those demo day shirts from Magnolia.
I know, right?
You do.
Seriously.
Yeah. I have one.
On a,
Yeah,
I need it for a bunch of different aspects of my life, like demo day.
There you go.
Doing this and demo day when you're just in the studio all day.
There you go.
And so so life's been pretty regular around here. Again, hearing Chris and Ed go back and forth talking about the update for Overwatch and like, oh, I'm trying to turn on my PS4 so it'll just download so it'll be ready when I'm home. And so I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me just hop on there and just flick it on real quick. And so that would be that was a good time last night, like I was mentioning. Other than that, man, really it's been just a lot of life. It hasn't been a whole lot of gaming or new gaming going on. I don't know really where I'm going next as far as gaming. I'm kind of where Tim's been the last couple of weeks. Like, okay, what do I want to like? What am I about to sink my teeth into? And so I've been floating around just ideas of like, you know, I didn't know if I needed to bring back Shenmue Saturdays to prepare for Shenmue 3 that's coming out later this year, or if I need to jump into Sekiro and be extremely frustrated. And I probably won't be playing Days Gone just because I've been watching Ed play it so much, and it's been fun watching him, watching that game unravel with him. You know what's funny though, because I can only jump in at sporadic times, I really only see you fighting, so I have no idea what the story is.
That's awesome.
that's hilarious.
And so there's that side of me that's a little bit like, oh, maybe I could play this, you know. So
yeah, it's been pretty spoiler free for you so far. Then
it's been extremely spoiler free.
Yeah, there goes Ed.
Yeah,
fighting again.
Yep, there goes some awesome. Whatever they're called, freakers. Is that what you guys call them?
Yeah. I can tell by the shirt that freaker's wearing that something big must have happened.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't know any of that. Our just for more life stuff, our tax guy had some health problems earlier this year, so I have to wait till today to do my taxes. So we're going to do my taxes this morning, which is it's so exciting.
Oh, that's riveting.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, the kids have been playing a lot of the SNES Classic in the house, so that's been fun. Just hearing those sounds and watching them play, you know, Kirby and Punch Out, and all these things, and so it's been really nostalgic. Even for Jenny, she's walked around and he was playing. Was it Super Mario World? I can't remember what game he was playing. He was playing a Mario, and Jenny goes, "Oh, just the sounds of that game," and I was like, "I know, right?" And so that's been fun, just seeing them
as a tear trickles down your face.
Exactly. Seeing them fall in love with that old stuff and being excited to play it. And it really shows the number one, the power of gaming, but number two, the power of Nintendo and what they did. And you know, my kids have played all the new stuff as well. Obviously they've seen Apex, they played Beat Saber a whole lot. Amara has played the VR demo stuff and loves it, but the fact that they can still go back and appreciate and really enjoy the SNES Classic and the NES Classic, we just keep both of them in the living room and just swap the HDMI between the two.
Oh, nice.
And so they've been really liking both of those. So really excited to watch them grow to love that stuff. So
Milo feeling better?
Yeah, everybody's on the mend. Everybody's good. You know, just allergies.
I was praying that nobody else got sick. I was like, oh, please let that
could you imagine?
Spread to everybody. Oh.
So it's been
vomiting patillos.
Exactly. Like, we're skinny though, but we're sick. So
exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So everything's been extremely normal over here. So I need some encouragement as to what I should jump into next, because I want to get lost in a story. It's just I haven't had that one thing pop out since Kingdom Hearts.
And you didn't finish Horizon, did you?
Nah, I don't think I'm ever gonna finish that.
Okay, never mind.
I want to so bad, but I just started it like 3 times, and the last time I jumped in, I was like, "What's the freaking buttons?" And so,
right? Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, we'll see. I have no idea, but hopefully something jumps out here. I need to start just perusing what recently came out because I'm so bad at remembering. So we'll see what it is.
Are you wanting or would you prefer to have something a bit shorter so you don't have to worry about that? The whole like, oh, things come up and you have to step away for too long?
Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be short, because Kingdom Hearts wasn't short. But just something that I don't know if I want to dive into a story, or like I was saying with Sekiro, you know, that's sitting there on the hard drive, and wondering if I need to be hopping into that because I do really want to try that game. And now that I'm fully back out in the shed with everything, I don't feel the need to not play it in the living room in front of the children. So yeah, we'll see.
I think you should maybe jump into that one only because I feel like you'll be able to get to a point not really quickly, but you should be able to get to a point rather early on that you're like, okay, this game's going to be too hard for me. And you would just know.
Yeah.
But you'd feel satisfied that you gave it a shot kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of me, like, I'm just so disappointed that Anthem didn't like do the thing.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted to play that game. And I was, like I mentioned last week, I was so hype on that one. And then like, I have been like thinking about playing just the story of Mortal Kombat 11. Just because
there you go.
Mortal Kombat. So,
Exactly.
I don't know, but we'll see. You guys will be the first to know.
Persona 5 it is
New Dawn.
then.
I forget about New Dawn too.
Yeah.
That to me that felt pretty quick. I feel like you could step into there.
Yeah.
Yep. That or Persona 5. Go.
Yeah, exactly right. I know. Well, with the murmurings, and I think it's been shot down now, but the murmurings that were kind of talking about Persona 5 coming to Switch, I was like, ooh, maybe I'll get that on the Switch. But then it was that S didn't mean
then
Switch.
It immediately got shut down.
Yeah,
So it's for sure not happening?
I don't know if it's for sure not happening, but the game that everybody thought was Persona 5 for the Switch was Persona 5 S, and then it turned out to not be the same game. It is coming to the Switch, a Persona 5, but I forget what the S stands for. But it's not like the game.
Stupid.
For the
Substitute.
Persona 5, stupid.
Silly.
So,
Just silly.
It's not what you thought we were.
Hey.
So, anyway, that's it for me. Tim Router, you got it?
I got it.
Well, let's do it!
All right. New releases this week. We got American Fugitive for the PC, PS4. A couple Switch releases, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered and Assassin's Creed Liberation Remastered. If you want to jump on that, Gabe, that's all you. Dauntless for the PC, PS4, and Xbox. Everybody's Golf VR for the PSVR.
Yeah.
Observation for the PC and PS4. Here you go. Resident Evil Remake for the Switch, Resident Evil 0 for the Switch, and Resident Evil 4 for the Switch. Gabe, that's all you again, man.
I know. Shoot. What am I complaining about?
Right? You have nothing to complain about. Team Sonic Racing for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And Tennis World Tour Roland Garros Edition for the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. There you go. Can you tell it's right before E3?
Seriously.
It's amazing.
That's funny.
Really quickly, we do have MPD for April came in. Software sales for April, 427 million, up 15% from last year. Top 10 games, number 10, Yoshi's Crafted World. Number 9, NBA 2K19. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Number 7, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Oh, good for them.
Hey.
Wow, nice.
That's awesome. Yep. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5. Good Lord. Number 5, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yeah.
Number 4,
We've been
Tom
playing a lot of
Clancy's-
that, by the way, in the house.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. My kids love freaking Smash Brothers.
That's awesome.
really cool.
That song, the song is
I have
awful.
no idea what that was.
That was
Oh, my
amazing
gosh.
and kind of terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Number 4, Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Number 3, MLB 19 The Show. Number 2, Days Gone.
Hey.
Ooh.
Number 1, Mortal Kombat 11.
Good
There
for
you
them.
go.
I
Yeah,
feel like that
awesome.
makes sense.
Makes total sense. Good
Yeah.
for
Definitely.
Days Gone, though, being at number 2, considering
Yeah.
everybody wrote that off for a while. In hardware news, consumer spending was 160 million, down 29%.
Yep, that makes
Except
sense
for the
too.
Nintendo Switch, all other hardware platforms experience a decline in sales. So the Switch
Oh, wow.
just keeps on keeping on.
That's right. It does.
That is it for me, gentlemen. Back to you.
Chris McCracken,
Yes.
lay it on us.
So, in a crazy turn of events, It seems that Sony and Microsoft are teaming up on cloud-based gaming and entertainment.
Oh man, this must mean that every game will be crossplay from here on out.
It sure will. And actually, we're going to buy the new PS5 Xbox 2.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
this came out last week. This bit of information is actually a joint announcement by Sony and Microsoft. And it's one of those things where on the surface, it's like crazy news. But then when you dial it back and think about it, it's like, well, I think in the future, it could definitely mean a lot. But in the immediate, it's not necessarily going to change a whole bunch of crazy stuff. It's just crazy to see, Microsoft, to see an article saying Microsoft and Sony are teaming up. That's just kind of something you don't expect to see.
Right.
Basically, Sony is going to be teaming with Microsoft to continue to build out the cloud solutions for both gaming and streaming content. And they're going to be using Microsoft Azure, which is the name they give to their big cloud service. And so Sony's going to be using their data centers, which we know that Sony has PlayStation Now that they've been using. And we talked about a couple weeks ago. They're currently at like 700,000 subscribers. But I always kind of felt like it was one of those things where, like, man, especially if the streaming thing keeps on going, it's like they're gonna have to team with somebody. Now, a couple weeks ago, when Google Stadia announced all their stuff, I was like, man, I could see in a couple years Sony teaming up with Google to do something on the streaming side to combat Microsoft. I didn't think it was gonna be this way because I thought they'd want to still compete. But when you think about it, this makes total sense because, like I said, you knew that Sony was going to need help in this area because they didn't have the infrastructure to build out so many data centers where Google and Microsoft and even Amazon already have so many more than they do. So it made sense for them to team with somebody. And so now, rather than being Sony and Google teaming up against Microsoft, it looks like it's going to be more Sony and Microsoft teaming up to combat Google whenever the streaming stuff gets here, because Google's definitely behind the 8 ball, but in terms of like technology and the number of sheer data centers, I think they're the biggest cloud provider currently, or it might be Amazon. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems like they're going to be teaming up to some extent to be fighting towards Google to make sure that they can push off and hold that off a little bit. I feel like in the immediate, Sony's probably getting a little bit better deal, not a better deal, but it's more beneficial to them because they needed to have the data centers and the structure and all that kind of stuff like that. Obviously, Microsoft is going to get they get money because they're going to be getting all this money coming in from Sony that's going to be paying them to be able to use all their stuff while they're still competing in the hardware space, because Microsoft's still going to be making games. They just bought all these studios and they're still going to be making hardware. We know that there's going to be announcements about more Xbox stuff at E3. So in the immediate, they're still going to be competitors. But it's just kind of a crazy turn of events. And the other thing that's kind of nuts about it is the Sony team, like the PlayStation team, didn't even know this was happening.
This was going on in Japan.
Handled by Sony direct, like corporate in Tokyo, made this deal and then struck in. Like some of the people at Sony were like, all the staffers and everything, like freaking out, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And they had to be calmed down a little bit. I just thought it was crazy news.
Yeah, I would have freaked out as well. But when you think about it, it's like, if they don't want the news to get out until they want it to get out, that was probably the way they had to do it. Because if they let all of Sony know, it would have gotten out.
Yeah.
Well, what I thought was interesting was I remember me and Chris were talking about the story earlier in the week, and he was like kind of making the joke of like, this huge news, Sony and Microsoft. And when I first saw it, it kind of hit me like, because we know it's kind of moving forward. It kind of all made sense. And everybody kind of uses everybody already. And so I was talking to Chris about it, and I was mentioning how the iPhone has used Samsung screens for forever. Right. And so like, even though they seem like direct competition, Samsung's getting the money for the screens. And then I was like, I wonder if Apple does that with anybody else. And then they use LG screens for their Apple Watch. And I thought that was interesting. And so
that's interesting. Funny. I didn't know that.
And then to dive deeper into this story, I saw that a lot of this might be coming from, I guess, so we all know that Gaikai has been the backbone of PS Now. And we've talked about how, they boasted 700,000 players, and that seems like a lot, and that seems like such a success for them. And then this news comes out, and you're like, well, wait, what about Gaikai? Like, don't you guys like own a streaming service? And then you kind of see that Gaikai, I didn't know this, but Gaikai only did PlayStation Now, to where Amazon Web Services did all the PlayStation Network. Which I thought was interesting. But then they said that Amazon and Sony couldn't agree on commercial terms moving forward. And so I don't know if there's some bad beef there, and that's why Sony is now in turn talking to Microsoft.
And also when it comes to the Gaikai stuff, which became PlayStation Now, as I understand it, that's really what Gaikai brought was the tech to make the streaming stuff work, not necessarily the data centers. Like they didn't have a ton of data centers that Sony then now owned after that. Or if I'm sure they had some, but it wasn't like to the level that like an Amazon or a Google or even a Microsoft could. And of course, there's been some of this chat about like, oh, this could maybe down the road open up the ability for crossplay and everything. And look, sure, that is absolutely a possibility because if it is running all through the same area, there could be much easier to get the networks to go and talk with each other because they're all using the same platform, the same servers. But it's still going to end up depending on whether or not that's what they want to do. I was about to say
that wasn't the hurdle, was that they couldn't talk to each other. The hurdle was we're Sony and you're Microsoft. It's going to be even easier when everything's going through there because Azure, it's not just their server is named Azure. It's also the way that all their system and software works through Azure to make things seamless. So the more technical hurdles that are laid down, the easier it then becomes for that kind of thing to happen. Not that it couldn't have happened before, but it's just going to become even an easier possibility right now. You're saying Sony will have less excuse to say why they're not playing well with others.
I mean, I think that it's going to go that way regardless anyways, next generation.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So, but it'll just make it that much simpler to do this way when they're using this service.
It's also interesting because when I first heard it, I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then reading the article, I'm like, okay, so this is more on the back end side of things. It's more on the cloud streaming. And in the article, it's interesting because Microsoft wants to access the sensory technology that PlayStation uses. So to me, that kind of sounds like, are they doing another Kinect now, or are they going to do something in that aspect as well? Like there was kind of a tit for tat with this, like with Sony was going to use Azure, but then they're going to get involved in some of their sensory technology and even some VR stuff. So like, obviously Microsoft's got something coming down the pike for that as well. This to me, it's all very back end, which is good. I think Sony needs it. I'm glad they kind of partnered, but yeah, this could help break down some technical barriers to maybe get closer to crossplay if we can. But I mean, it's cool. I like that. I think it's a good idea. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. And you know, they're really good with their cloud streaming. The only other thing I had thought of was, all right, when we start streaming, that also means user accounts. Are they going to share user account data now? Because then that's going to be a whole nother ball of wax. That's where, you know, because now you're fighting for customer share. And so if Sony and Microsoft both have like account data streaming for somebody's account, who gets that? You know, who gets that information? Does that, if they logged in with Microsoft, is that Microsoft, or now is that legally a part of Sony's as well, and vice versa? But I think we're still way early into that. This is more back end stuff than anything else.
Yeah, and I didn't notice it in this article. One of you guys can chime in if you read it and maybe I missed it. But all this is going to do, like Tim said, is backbone stuff, at least in the immediate.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything on Sony's side is still going to run off their network. I mean, yes, it's using the pipeline that is Azure and whatever tech that's involved with that makes that as smooth as possible. But it's still Sony building out the network. The networks are still separate things.
Right.
Yeah.
As I understand it.
So they're basically licensing Azure then.
So unless it changes somewhere down the road where it's like Xbox Live is just going to become a ubiquitous thing that just whoever wants can use it kind of thing. And Microsoft and Sony were like, okay, we're going to use Xbox Live as our backbone, as our network infrastructure. I don't think that there would be any way where, it'd be account sharing. At least not by a default, just simply because.
Well, and legally, I don't think they can do that anyway. Once you have to opt in for all of that anyway. Yeah. So we're not even there yet. This is all back end stuff, but it's very cool to see them actually working together, and maybe that grows into something else.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the future, if it goes anywhere outside of just simply like a backbone, agreement that they have with each other.
So, which could be all it is.
Yeah, it does kind of lead down that inevitable path that we all feel like. But I'm with Chris. It's like, okay, I would have seen Sony linking up with somebody else, not Xbox or not Microsoft.
Yeah,
but definitely it's gonna be cool. So Phil Spencer, you know, the head guy over at Microsoft Xbox, he wrote a blog post titled "Video Games: A Unifying Force for the World," and he talked about toxicity in gaming when it came to abuse and harassment and you know, excluding people and things like that, and said that he wanted to that he was acutely aware of the problem that the gaming industry has with that, and that he wanted to create kind of like a plan to fight toxicity in gaming, which I thought is great. I don't know how this would happen, but I love that one of the top dogs are talking about this. And one of the things he says, just consider teen girls who play video games are 3 times more likely to pursue a STEM degree. So that's the science, technology, engineering, mathematics degree. Among teenagers who play games online with others daily, 74% have made friends online and 37% have made more than 5 friends online. And I love that I love that he pointed out teen girls, because obviously we all know the problems with girls in gaming. I don't remember what the hashtag was a couple years ago when it was talking about women in games, but you know, we all know that girls struggle. If somebody knows it's a girl, then they get harassed way more than if they thought there was a guy online, and how some girls felt like even when it was a create your own character, they needed to make boys, and so they didn't feel like they, you know, got treated unfairly because they were even a girl character. And so he said the Xbox safety team is nicknamed Defenders of Joy because we will defend you in every humanly and technologically way possible. And I just thought it was really cool, and it was a cool conversation I think needs to continually be had. Obviously, we're hugely blessed with the Married to the Games family. We don't have any of this. Definitely not to where it's a problem.
No way.
But it is a problem in gaming as a whole, and I have no idea how you tackle something that's this big a problem. We've seen a little bit with Twitch streamers, you know, if they say something racist or, you know, whatever, then their thing gets canceled for a little while or whatever it is. But I just think the conversation is super important to be had, and we can get a little, we're a little spoiled with Married to the Games and the people that we play with. We don't have to go up against this almost ever, but, you know, I think all of us have seen it happen outside of our family.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when I saw that, I was kind of like you. Like, I appreciated that he was having the conversation, and I appreciated that he mentioned it. But at the same time, it feels like such a huge beast to carry on.
I know.
To take on.
Do
It's like,
what do
okay,
you do?
we changed our rules. It's like saying we're going to get rid of people that have road rage. You know, it's
I know.
Right.
You can put up a billboard, but
how do you enforce it? How do you?
It's like I wish that we could tackle toxicity. I don't know if we can we?
Yeah, I don't. The only thing I could think of is that you would just have to, like, if you're in a chat or in something like that, you'd report that person, and then what? Like, Gabe, what you said, what Twitch, like, they suspend your account for a week. Yeah, that might work for a little bit, but like, people are still going to be the same people, and it's like,
and I agree with you, but like, so Nintendo, and this is this is a small thing, but like Nintendo on Smash Brothers, like we were just talking about. If I go online to play, and then I leave halfway through the match because I'm losing, I think they let you do that once, but like we accidentally got disconnected. So I didn't know this. On Smash Brothers Ultimate, if I'm playing online and I get beat and I'm just sitting there watching the other two finish the match, if I leave then, that's still considered me bouncing in the middle of the match. I can't get brought back or anything like that.
Interesting.
And so I had done that because I was like, okay, these guys killed me. I need to go start up another match. And it said, you've disconnected in the middle of the match. That's, you know, unfair or whatever the wording was they use. You can't play for an hour. And I was like, whoa. And so I think that now it's going to feel crazy, and I don't know how you implement it, but I think there is going to come a point to where people can work those kind of things into it. And I think, you know, with the PlayStation, if your game crashes, it says, do you want to send a report? And then do you want to add video to it? And so I think we can't use just a tattletale system because people will abuse it. You know, obviously, I mean, people do that with freaking the cops. You know what I'm saying? We've seen swatting. And so, but I think that might be a way to tag somebody with a video clip. Maybe that could lead to some kind of punishment. You know what I'm saying? What that punishment is, I don't know. I think Nintendo's got that thing dialed in. I love that you actually get suspended for an hour.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome, because I was like, okay, if I'm misusing this, or if somebody's misusing it, at least they're getting some sort of slap on the wrist to make them not want to do that.
And I would assume, and I because I'm not a PC gamer, I don't know how it works, but I would think it would be a lot easier on PC gaming to keep a record of that, especially in the text chat that people have, because I would assume it's really easy to take a record of that, or a screenshot, or something like that, where you can say, hey, this is what they said, rather than saying they said this to me over a voice chat.
Right. And that's what I was saying about the report a bug thing. Like, you know, you don't realize that your PlayStation and your Xbox, a lot of people realize, but like it might be in the back of your mind that it's constantly recording what you're doing.
Right.
You know, up to a certain, I think 15 minutes on the PlayStation, at least that's what mine's set to, and like a couple minutes on the Xbox. And so you know that there is that backup to your complaint. You know what I'm saying? And so,
right.
I don't know. Chris, what do you think? You think there's toxicity? You think that could be, I know it can't be cured, but you think it could be helped immensely?
I mean, I think it's a good idea that he's pushing this initiative even more, and that they're constantly trying to think of new ideas and ways, because I agree with you guys. It's a never-ending battle, you know? I mean, it's one of those things where it's constantly going to change. And kind of as you were mentioning before, like on the PC side, I know that one thing that's another big issue besides just toxicity is like people who are cheating in games. And again, that's kind of more of an issue on the PC side, because it's so much easier to download and install things and everything onto your game to help you cheat. But it's like, you see how many games, you know, PUBG and Call of Duty and all these other ones that are
Apex, all
they're spending hours and hours and hours to like find cheaters and then ban them and all this kinds of stuff. It's like, if that's that big of an issue, it's like, I gotta feel like toxicity, because it's so much easier to do, is even larger a problem to try to squish.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I mean, sure, you can laugh at things like when they have this, like the Defenders of Joy, and you can laugh at the things that they're trying to do and the little cutesy names that they give them and things like that. But I mean, at least they're trying to do something, and they're trying to get in there and figure out this problem, because that's what you have to do. You have to keep going back to the drawing board, keep giving it a shot, keep trying something.
Yeah. And even if it's not working, you need to say that there's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like we're all saying, at least he's getting it out there, saying, hey guys, this is an issue. We need to fix it. And guess what? We're going to fix it. And not that that's going to change people's mindset a whole lot. You know, you have to be into gaming news to even have seen this. But I think that it's important. It's important to have the discussion as to, you know, because it dips into free speech and all this stuff. But it's like, hey, you know, free speech is one thing. And then, you know, free speech on my platform is another thing. I can't just get on stage with Toby and say whatever I want to say into the microphone. I could, but I might be fired. And so, you know, there's definitely, there's going to be that thing, you know, here and there, but then they're gonna have to decide, you know, where they draw the line. And I think that line is where it's going to get really hard. You know, are you cussing at someone? Were you just cussing? Or is it cussing at all? Is it racially? Is it, you know, gender wise, you know, and all those things. That's where it's going to get a little tough. And I think what, you know, Chris is saying is true, is like, woo, that's a tall task. If we can't keep cheaters out, you know, to keep somebody who's being hateful out is going to be tough. But I think it can only make us better.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, like, I know this is still be hard to do because people can go and create brand new accounts and everything like that. But I'm all for, on the cheating side, on the toxicity side, assuming, you know, there's some type of proof of it happening, not just a he said, she said kind of thing.
That's right.
I am all for like stricter rules, and like I'm not down with us all like, okay, you're being banned, you can't play for a week. It's like, nah, man, you get caught cheating once, you're banned for life. That account is done. It can never be there anymore. If you get caught like berating, you know, a girl that's on the where, or even just or a guy, anybody, if you are berating that person, like calling them names and doing all that stuff like that, okay, you're gone. You're not doing it anymore. In that situation, there needs to be, like you said, like we'd have to attach the video clip that shows that person doing it.
That's
and all
right.
That kind
That's
of stuff.
right. That's
there
very
would need
important.
To be proof. I definitely don't want it to be like just at the allegation you ban somebody kind of thing.
Yes,
but like,
because I feel like that's where our culture is a little bit.
especially when it comes to the cheating side, like people that'll be like, okay, you got caught cheating and now you have a week ban on certain games in the past. I've heard of that. And it's just like, man, if somebody's cheating, they're gone for life. Like, why even wasting time with this? I mean, yes, they could just go create another account.
I know, but people turn over new leaves and people need to be corrected. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that we should ban people for life for messing up or for dibble dabbling. I dibble dabbled in cheating when I was, 15. When I was sucking at Counter-Strike and they were like, if you install this .dll or whatever the freak, it might help with it. You're like, oh, okay. And then you do it and then they kick you out of the server and you're like, oh, okay, let me uninstall that and get back to playing regular. But if they'd have been like, you're gone for forever, you're like, oh, snap. That seems like a bit of a harsh punishment. But I liked the timed only because I like giving people a chance. And I think that people make mistakes. And people say things they don't mean. Obviously, or even things they do mean, and they just need to know that they can't say it. Obviously, with Twitter and everything like that, and with social media, we've seen that people get punished for saying things even 10 years ago. And so I think it's important to give people second chances. Personally.
Yeah, I'm all fine with second chances, but it's like there's 80 million games under the sea. It's like if you get banned from, Overwatch because you installed a wall hacks, thing on PC side, and you can't come back and play over, at least with that account. Again, you could go create another account, but you can't have access to that account anymore. You're probably going to think twice about wall hacking in CSGO next time.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to me, it's not like it's just the end all be all like, oh, you're out of the community, you're shunned, and you'll never be able to come to any community ever again. It's like, no, there's like tons and tons of games.
Right.
That's going to show. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's definitely like a hard nut to crack, but I feel like when you give somebody like, okay, this is your third strike, it's like, no.
Yeah,
they cheated a game, and I understand like a younger kid who may not fully understand it, but I'm
and that's all I'm saying.
Side, I guess. Yeah,
and I think because we got to remember that the whole scope of people that are playing, and I think that I think tiered punishments could be right. I think that if you get caught cheating, you're banned for however long. Again, you're banned for a really long time, and maybe on the third strike, you're out. You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, even if
I can get down with that.
Even if you've paid for, this game for the next year, you're gone. Sorry, that's 3 times. We gave you a chance. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't get money back or anything.
No.
That's on them, man. That's their responsibility.
All that could just be easily built in, if it's not already for a lot of games, in the terms of service, which most people have to accept when they play it anyways.
Exactly.
Right.
On the toxicity side, though, I think a lot of it is people just need to, if somebody hears something while on a chat, they need to speak up and call that person out. Because what better way to shut people down when you're in a group? Because, a lot of them they're all trying to show off and be cool and whatever. Man, just shut them down. Shut them down. That'll shut them up real fast.
Not always.
That's right.
I mean,
be D-bags will be D-bags. And it's just one of those things where, but if you just at least stand up for them, I think that helps bring the chat group together.
I think that's a first step.
Yeah.
That's definitely a first step. Call them out.
Is each other.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I like
I meant to tell you, Gabe, you got to watch the language. Man. I mean, jeez.
I get upset. I can't help it. What else you got, Christopher?
All right, so I don't know how this is all going to go, but Sony is kind of looking at all this IP for different television and film stuff and be like, look, we got a lot of cool stories and IPs on the game side. Maybe we can turn some of those into television and film adaptations. And hey, we make movies. So
I don't like it.
Why don't we get into this? Next. So they're creating PlayStation Productions, and it's going to basically do that. It's going to take all their different IP, and it's going to look at the ones that they feel like have good stories that can translate over into a TV series / film series on their own things. And they're going to be the ones that produce it rather than licensing out their IPs to, a movie franchise or Warner Brothers.
To people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sony makes movies, so they kind of know what they're doing too. I mean, it's not like don't have any experience in this area. They've won Oscars and lots of different things in their area as well. So it's not like they're fresh off the we can do it. It's like they actually have some chops at actually doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, that does not mean that game translates very well over to television and film necessarily. Those don't go hand in hand per se.
Did they not see the Halo series?
Did anybody see the Halo series?
No, exactly. Did they not learn from did they not learn from the Halo series? Now, I will say PlayStation does have, in my opinion, I think they have more story-based good games like that. So maybe there could be a series out of something, but I don't know.
I don't bash them for saying like, hey, let's give this a shot
No,
and see
not
if it
at all.
works. Whether or not it's going to,
it.
who knows? The other thing that I'm not sure is like, would this be a part of just your PlayStation Plus subscription? You have access to this. It'd be like just a tab or an app, so to speak, on your PlayStation. Would it be a separate thing like a Disney Plus or a Netflix or an Amazon Prime or whatever like that? I'm not really sure. I'm assuming it would be because it's probably going to be expensive to make all this stuff.
Yep.
That's what I was wondering, Chris. Do you think?
Yeah.
Is it for the money? Because it seems like gaming's in the lead. Why go back and do something that doesn't make much money?
I mean, it could be brand awareness, like especially depending on what series they're doing, because that kind of will help solidify, oh man, I play this game, they're doing this series. That kind of keeps them in the long run. So maybe it's more of an advertising and marketing budget thing than it is anything else. But yeah, you're right. Like the game is the forefront anyway. And if you've played the game, great. Now we're just going to make a series out of it.
Yeah, and if you get a series that pops, you know, you can find yourself sitting on a good amount of money. You know,
you just need one, is what you're saying, Ed.
Yeah, like if you get a Beyond Two Souls series on Netflix and people really take to the character and the story, hey, you got maybe seasons 2 through 5 on the way,
and an increase in Beyond Two Souls gaming game sales.
Yeah,
too. So yeah, it all works out.
Yeah, whether or not it's tied into a PlayStation Plus or maybe it's a premium versus a premium version of PlayStation Plus, where it's like it has the PS Plus stuff and it includes the PlayStation Originals or whatever the heck they're going to call it. I do think it's all about strengthening the brand and making the brand more charming to everybody else, to where they want to be involved with it. And like you said, it's hopefully, if the series were good, the idea is that it would make people also want to play the games and vice versa. Or if you play the games and you hear great things about the story, you want to also watch that. And then you'd want to be able to purchase or have access to it through whatever means necessary. And we talked, Router and I kind of mentioned it a week or so ago, where we were like, hey, I could totally see an Uncharted like series. That's a television series where it's just small little snippets or whatever like that. I would be willing to check that out. And I mean, if they own the IP and they own the stories and the people who create and wrote those stories, like so Naughty Dog, they own Naughty Dog. Let's say they wanted to make a Last of Us movie. I mean, and because they were already working at that one point, what if it became part of this? I mean, you're having the guy who wrote the game write the movie. If he's got a good hand in it, like I have more faith that it could actually turn out to be a really good thing.
Oh yeah, I think it could be.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all know that there's been a very big, a lot of times they've been trying to do things with video games and make a good movie out of it. And seemingly, I haven't seen it, but it seems like the only one that's really done really well for itself so far is the Pokemon, whatever, Pikachu, Detective Pikachu kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, but I feel like somewhere down the road, that's going to be a nut that it gets cracked. I mean, just like comic book movies, like, yeah, you could like the Batman films, or maybe you like the Superman or one of the X-Men or whatever, but nobody ever really thought of comic book movies as really great stuff until the MCU happened. Then it really was like, okay, this is another thing, and look how they weaved it all together. They're doing it so right, yada, yada, yada. So it just takes that someone to figure out the right formula and make it work and then build off of that.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be it. Maybe it won't. I got no problem with them trying. I mean, I'm not like saying, oh, this is going to be gangbusters, but I'm willing to give it a look and see how it goes.
Yeah. In order for them to reach the widest audience possible, I wouldn't want them to do like what Xbox said they were going to do with Halo, where it's on the PS network. I would want them to do it for Netflix or for Amazon.
Yes,
or
please
like
do that. Please do that. Please. I totally agree.
What do you mean exactly?
Like it would be a Sony Productions series that's on Netflix.
Yes,
rather than you have to get
thing.
Instead of having to get the PlayStation, whatever it is.
Yeah, I only want that because I feel like sometimes when you preach to the choir, it keeps you inside the walls a little bit. And so if they were to introduce it to Netflix, which is obviously a huge huge part of the population, and then they have it in front of all those eyes instead of just the eyes of the gamer. Right. I don't think anybody outside, and I could be wrong, of course there's other people, but I don't think anybody outside of the gaming world would be like, ooh, they made a Beyond Two Souls movie. Right. I'm going to now get PlayStation Plus to just watch that. But if they take that outside of house and they have the Sony PlayStation division of gaming on Netflix and they have, or on Amazon, I think it's got a bigger. That's a way bigger net to cast than to do it to the people that are playing the games already.
And I would think you're looking at least a $5 to $8 increase in your PlayStation Plus membership, at least, because that stuff is going to be expensive, and like to put these together and have it on some sort of a monthly subscription like that, you got to get your money out of it. So yeah, you would definitely see an increase in price.
I think at first you'd have to have like kind of the church youth group mentality where like the youth group doesn't make any money. The church pays for the youth group. And so true. I think if they dive in, if they want to put it on PlayStation Plus only, I think it'd be smart to not raise prices at first and just have the big dog pay for the test and see how the test does.
Let it be the trial.
Then, and then if it becomes something that people really want, then do it. I don't like it personally. I'm with Chris. I'm like, I mean, go ahead and try it and waste your money if you want to, but I wouldn't want to pay extra to see that.
Right out the gate, especially.
Yeah.
But I don't. If it was tied to a PlayStation Plus thing, like I don't think it would be a just PlayStation Plus increases and now you are forced to pay. I think it would be an optional thing, like, oh, you can do this version of PlayStation Plus that includes PlayStation Originals. Or
that's
whatever.
what I'm saying, and I just wouldn't pay the extra to see it.
Yeah, if they did it that way, I think as long as it's separate, then whoever wants to do it, they could possibly partner with someone like putting his stuff on you were saying Amazon or Netflix like that. There. Based on the article, there's no real indication. Of course, it's all in the infancy stages right now, whether or not that's the direction they would be willing to go. I think if it started doing well for itself, that would be more viable because then you would have the Netflix or the Amazon coming and saying, hey, yes, you produced it all, but we want to pay to have this series on here because it's doing really well because they're all competing as well.
Well, then Netflix and Amazon are about to need something. Yeah. With Disney dropping at the end of the year and Hulu and all them being, all in the same family, Netflix especially is going to need something.
Yeah, and maybe they're, the article just mentions they wanted to get into TV and movies. Maybe they're thinking that the big screen when they think of movies and not necessarily even online.
Yeah,
Oof,
maybe.
Lord have mercy.
I trust them. They could tell a good story over there at Sony. I think they could do it.
Yep. I mean, just the movie thing just scares me, man. I like a series better because it lets you unfold the thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Right. Where like movies, we've just seen time and time again that it just doesn't go as anyway. They're redoing Sonic.
But have we seen a Sony video game jump to movies yet? Have we seen? I don't know that we have.
I don't know.
Maybe we haven't seen them, like, hey, kids, step back. We'll show you how to do it.
And they could.
Yes.
I think they could pull it off.
The only one that I can think of is the Ratchet and Clank movie. I don't know how much involvement they had in because I think Insomniac, I think they actually wrote that story and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And I heard that movie wasn't all that great. I never actually saw it myself. And it was an animated one. I feel like animated stuff tends to have a better shot at being accepted simply because it's fun and cute and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's family focused, so you get more tickets out of it.
Yeah, I do think that was a Sony Studios movie or fell under Sony's production, but I don't know how much they had control over the creative of that or not. That's the only one that I can think of. That there hasn't been any of Sony's original IP. There has not been other IPs, I guess, like that the in-house made. I don't think there's been a single thing. There hasn't been an Uncharted movie. There hasn't been a Last of Us. There hasn't been a God of War. There hasn't been anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I got no problem. At some point, because video games are so prominent and just getting bigger all the time, there's got to be someone's going to figure out the way to merge these two things together and make a good video game movie or video game series based off of a video game. It doesn't necessarily have to follow one for one. I'm not concerned with that, honestly. If they make a Last of Us movie, I'm not really concerned with it. But wait, it deviates from this. Just like the MCU deviates from the comics. It's fine. As long as you're in the ballpark and tell a good story, that's all I care about.
Does it need to have Ellie and Joel for you?
It doesn't need to, but I mean, it seems like logically it would have them.
Yeah, those are your
But
main
no, I
characters
could totally see something that's just in that universe.
Yeah, because I'm with you. Like if they did a Last of Us movie, yes, it doesn't have to follow the game beat for beat. Obviously,
I wouldn't want it to.
I don't think you could. Number one, because movies got to be 2 hours. But I get scared when it starts getting into it could just be whoever in a zombie world and we just call it Last of Us.
Right, right.
That's the only thing that gets me like a little like jumpy, because then it's like what makes it special is that we fall in love with these characters. And yeah, I can fall in love with some other characters, but like just to slap The Last of Us on whatever zombie thing,
right,
would feel like blech to me.
I mean, the thing that I always point back to when people freak out about stuff like that is like, look, The Lord of the Rings. They made 3 movies based off 3 books, and in lots of different areas, the story deviates and things are left out and all this kinds of stuff. I enjoy the books just like I enjoy the movies. Like they're separate, but like it has the same character,
and the same story in it.
But there's a lot of things that are really different, especially in the Two Towers. There's a lot of things that are really different from the books. But to me, they stand separate, but they both can stand together. And they're just, I enjoy each one. I've read the books and really enjoyed them. I've watched the movies and really enjoyed them because they're well done and they're well told stories. It doesn't matter to me that there's differences.
Right.
Because I understand they're different things. Now, not everybody feels that way. You get the fanboys that are like so ticked off that didn't follow the book beat for beat. And then you get the movie fans that are like, oh, these books are dumb. You know, I understand. But I feel like most people can enjoy both and have, because they've been very successful.
Yeah,
definitely.
I like them. I'm just talking about from a main character aspect. If you put out a Lord of the Rings movie and it was just some other hobbits, you'd be like, well, where's Bilbo in them?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what the Amazon series that's going to come out.
But that's still after the fact. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying that I think that's going to follow something different just in that world. So we'll just have to see if that's, I'm just saying we'll see if that becomes successful or people really take to that or not.
I'll tell you what, it's worked swimmingly for Game of Thrones to not have an outline anymore and go into this.
No, hasn't it?
Right.
Has it? Yeah, has it not?
Edward.
Yes, sir.
What you got for us, doggy?
New on the Married to the Games YouTube channel this week, we've got parts 10 and 11 of Days Gone. That's about 9 more hours of gameplay for you to check out if you haven't yet. So,
boy.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, there you have it. That's it. Okay.
Short and sweet.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Love that. Love that.
Well, every week we ask you guys a question.
Let's get on those iTunes reviews, people.
Exactly. Last week was no different. We asked, what game do you keep on your console but you never play? Starting over on Facebook, John Ryan Riley, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Is that what it is? Battlefront? Yeah, Battlefront 2. Overwatch. Oh, shame on you. Fortnite, NHL 2018, World of Tanks. He said, well, let me just stop and say the only game on my console that I've ever played since it dropped is Red Dead Redemption 2. Everything else is there for show, I guess.
Wow.
That's funny. Wesley Varney, State of Decay 2, hoping one day I can bring myself to finish it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting after the first. I always hate that. Shay Corville, Worms.
Oh, jeez.
I love the Worms games. I've got probably 2 or 3 of those installed on my PC that I haven't touched in forever. I love those games.
That's funny.
Benjamin. Oh, crap. I've got to look at all these names before I choose them. Hillaware. We're going to go with Benjamin Hillaware. Monster Hunter World. I enjoyed it for a while, but it's not as fun when your friends don't want to play. Interesting. I always forget that that's a team up on the monster game.
Yeah.
Bob McDonald, except with no A at the end of Donald.
I wondered why that was so hard for you to pronounce. I know. Hey, you guys, who's up for McDonald's today?
He wants Mickey Donald's. All right.
I was like, I never realized he said that word weird.
Exactly. Hitman Series 1 and 2. Love them, but my backlog is huge. I get it. And Daniel Ferrugia. I haven't played Citizen 4 for years. I've even installed the sequels since and haven't played them anywhere near as much as number 4. But I spent so many hours playing that before I got married. In fact, I was playing it when I couldn't sleep from excitement the night before my wedding a decade ago. But it's such a time sink and, you know, kids' wives and 9 to 5s.
Yeah, no.
Exactly right. Over on Twitter, we got Chules at the Chules Final Fantasy 15. I know that's right. Eric Baker at Lombax Whisperer, Destiny 2. I keep telling myself that I'll go back and play it more. That was a tough one, man. Shoot. Our boy Frankie at Frankie_parent. The Witcher 3, I never know when I want to play it. And I have made the mistake of wanting to play it desperately and then waiting for 2 hours. So I keep downloading. So I will keep it downloaded forever.
Please do. And then play it, please. Please, oh, please, oh, please.
Exactly. Ken L at Kenneth DL Sega ports, because I never know when I want to play Sonic or Streets of Rage. That's right. Over on the Discord. VPB Butter says, plenty. Thanks for the cleanup reminder. That's
nice. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Oof. This is going to hurt. Jared Orr, God of War. I leave it on my hard drive just in case I want to show off current video games to a non-gamer. Also, it just feels wrong to delete such an amazing game. Yep. Nathan Dugas, Destiny 1. Even though I have little reason to ever go back to it, I don't really want to re-download all that again if I ever do.
Dude, I have my external drive on the Xbox is like 80% full for that very reason. It's just there's so many big games I don't want to re-download again.
Exactly. It just takes too long. Old Man Guido, Injustice 1 and 2. I love those games so much that I actually did decent tournament-wise. They both just sit there chilling. LOL. I know that's right. Goodness gracious. Well, thank you guys. You know where to find us. Facebook.com/married to the games, Twitter.com/MTTGcast. Like Ed said very quickly, YouTube.com/married to the games. Now on Patreon, if you want to support the show, of course, we would appreciate it. Throw $1 in the tip jar over at patreon.com/MTTG. And it's getting into summer. We're going to start getting that old Extra Life thing churning for the fall and winter. So extra-life.org/team/MTTG. Come join up, introduce yourself, and we'll raise some money for these kids. And Tim Router.
Rate us on iTunes. I mean, we're going with this quick, fast theme. Let's keep it going, man.
Oh my God.
There we go.
Love it.
Funny. Well, let's get into some questions.
All right, discard Mark
Discard.
Boucher. What's
Mark Boucher's been discarded.
Discard.
Let's go on to the discard.
Discard.
Let's go to the discard, shall we? Mark Boucher. What's the most amount of times you've seen the same movie in a theater? I want to say my record is 3 or 4.
Y'all gonna be disappointed, boy.
Yeah.
No, Gabe's answer.
You would be surprised. Maybe twice.
Or not.
I saw I think it was the first Lord of the Rings, and then somebody I was hanging out with was like, "Hey, me and the wife are going to Lord of the Rings tonight. If you want to go," and I was like, "Sure," but I slept through it the second time. But I did go to the theater. I watched the beginning.
Okay.
Again, and then slept for the 3 hours. Ed,
it's a little bit of a cheat, but I would say I've seen Terminator 2 4 or 5 times, but I was also working as a projectionist in the theater.
That doesn't count.
But I watched it.
You watched it all? All right. If you watched it all, then we will allow that. Then.
There you go. That's funny. Chris?
2, there might be something back in the day that I saw 3 times, but I've never seen a movie more than twice in a theater.
See, exactly. All right, I'm not crazy.
I saw Empire Strikes Back 4 times, I think, when I was younger.
Woo!
There you go.
In the theater. Yep, I loved it. It was great.
There you go.
Great question. Thank you for that. Holy Headshot. I don't like the constant flags or challenges that slow down football games and other sports. It doesn't seem that Overwatch or esports have anything like this. Actually, it seems that it's near impossible to commit any infractions that would be instant replay reviewable in a competitive game because it's just not built into the game. Do you guys think this is great? Do you guys think this is an advantage of esports over other sports? Love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, heck yes.
I love that. That's a great observation as well, because you have that stop and go of a lot of sports. This is straight up. If you blink, you're going to miss something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, you just can't do it. Like, you can't cheat.
Right.
I mean, you can't, like, it's not like, oh, did we get the payload there or not? It's, did the payload get there or not? Like, it's already has the, and I think it's one of the things that football suffers from. Listen, I don't know if this will ever happen, but like, I wish that at each, point of the ball, there was a chip inside the football. So when it crosses the plane, we don't have to go back to replays for 5 minutes. We know there's a little thing where it hits it goes, ding, yep, it crossed the plane. And so, maybe they have to decide whether the runner was down or not. But I think there needs to be things implemented into live sports that are technology so we can know things faster, because it really slows it down sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, only time the esports game gets paused is if there's a mouse problem or a monitor problem, and it doesn't happen that often. But yeah, the first time I was at a soccer game, I was like, "Wait, you mean this clock doesn't stop?"
Yes, yeah, exactly. They just tack it on at the end.
Exactly.
I think it was around like 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Yep.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think on the esports side, I mean, you don't have to do any of those things because they can. Like, it's written into the code. Like, you can't jump over this wall, and that was an error because we don't allow you to jump over that wall. Like, it's not a thing that exists, kind of. Yep. But on the flip side, I think people coming from traditional sports, that they can keep up. I feel like they run into the issue of like, I can't keep up because it moves so fast and there's no foot off the gas kind of thing. So even though yes, it can be an advantage for the junkies out there that are just want the adrenaline, want the action, go. I think it can be a detriment to people who are trying to figure out the game. Whereas something like a basketball and whatever, you have the more time to see the breakdown and understand the game a little bit quicker if you're not already into that sport. So it's a little from column A and B kind of thing.
And I hate to say this, but like in esports, you're kind of sitting down in a computer versus football or hockey. You are actually exerting yourself way more and getting that heart rate up. So I get that there should be pauses so that players can take a quick break, grab some water, whatever. But like the physical activities of it as well, you got to give them a little bit of a break.
Yeah, and
but
maybe
not,
the players, maybe the players feel that way. They're like, oh, thank God for this flag that's going to take 5 minutes. I need to go get some oxygen.
Right.
Esports.
Exactly.
I haven't seen enough of Overwatch League, so you guys can speak to it, but it feels like there's not going to be longer than 10 minutes around or somewhere around there. Is that usually true? Right. It's not going to go on for 25 minutes, right?
Not usually. It's happened, but not usually.
It's not the typical.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool. Great question. Love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Over on Facebook, Travis Possercell, favorite activity as a teenager? My friends and I loved our BMX bikes, probably put 10,000 miles on those things.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome.
Gaming and riding my bike. Yeah, I love me and my buddies definitely were out terrorizing the neighborhood.
Hey, Router, can you say the question again? It broke up on my end.
Favorite activity as a teenager?
Okay. Racing cars.
Ooh, nice. There you go. Bad. What about you, Edward?
We loved making home movies.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was on that train, baby.
I loved.
I'm so glad YouTube wasn't around when I was a teenager.
I know,
because I definitely would have put something on there that I would regret.
Yeah, oh yeah, that would have been good, and I would have liked it instantly. Especially during the summer months, I loved going to the pool, loved going to the beach because we were only like an hour away from it. So, I just loved doing that and hanging out.
Nice.
Yep.
Brian View, if you could get rid of one game, what game would that be?
Oh, man, get rid of one?
I don't think I need to get rid of one. I just don't play it.
Yeah.
To me, that's getting rid of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what game did I see that I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. We should get rid
Minecraft.
of this game.
Minecraft. Never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
Never mind.
Nice. Oh, wait, no.
No, there is one, actually.
There is one. Oh, y'all ought to work.
Oh, that's really funny.
What say you, Chris?
I mean, I'm kind of a little bit in Ed's original camp. If I just don't like it, I just won't play it. It really doesn't bother me that other people really enjoy it. But where it starts to impede on me is whenever everybody just wants to copy said thing, or other things die because everybody only wants to pay attention to X. So if I had to choose one with that kind of in mind, I would say Fortnite, only because I just don't understand it.
Wow.
And I don't want it becoming. I just don't like how I don't want other games, which fortunately this hasn't been a thing, but other games feel like we just have to do what Fortnite does and just be Fortnite clones per se.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I haven't had to do that, and I just don't play Fortnite, so it's not a big deal to me.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna say Shaq Fu, the new one that was on the Switch.
Nice.
That game sucks, man. The only good thing about that game is Shaq.
Up.
Like the fact that he voices it is so funny. But everything else about that game I did not appreciate.
Star button. Oh my gosh.
So funny. That's awesome. Yeah, mine would I'm with you, Ed, actually. Minecraft. Let's get rid of it. That sounds great to me. God, we're gonna get so much heat for that, bro. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck this week, but that's all good. I stand by it. Brian Niebel. Let's say there's a new game you've been waiting for and it just released. It's a 4-player squad game and there's a role for each of you that has to be filled. Tank, healer, assault DPS, and assassin DPS. In your own individual opinions, who do you think would best fit each role?
Ooh. Out of the 4 of us?
Yeah, like who gets what? Like Gabe, I can see you as a tank.
Yep.
Ed, I can see you as a healer. Chris, you're assault, and I'm assassin.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Nice.
I think that's what I was going to say too. Because I like to run and gun. And then
you do.
I could see Ed's been playing a lot of Mercy lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you love stealth, and Chris is very good with the gunplay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think we have our team right there. That's amazing.
Yeah, Chris, do you have any objections?
I thought that was going to take way longer.
I don't really.
Look at that. See, we're all in sync with each other.
That's very much makes sense. I like that.
I love that. That's really awesome. Well done. Good job, team. Now let's make that happen.
Good job, Router.
Right? Yeah, right. Let's see. At Fed Gamer, is there a particular brand of coffee that you enjoy? Ed?
What's up, Square One? I love you.
Hey, there you go.
Ooh. Chris?
No, I'm not as brand loyal in terms of I haven't found one that I really gravitate to the most. It's more the regions and whatnot for me, not the brand.
Oh, nice.
What's your region?
I've kind of gotten into the Guatemalan stuff, which Ed turned me on to. I like stuff from Peru. I got this new batch of beans a while back when Ed was here. He actually bought them for me, but these beans from China, they're actually really good.
They turned out good. Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying them. I'm almost out of it. I'm like, dang, I'm going to have to go back and buy some more of these Chinese beans.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So the way my palate works, unfortunately, most coffee tastes like most coffee to me.
Yeah.
There have been exceptions, like when I've hand ground something or when somebody gives me like a really flavorful bean. But like coffee overall, kind of like with beer for me, beer all tastes the same to me. They all have the underlining taste that I don't like, which I wish I did. I want to like beer bad. But I just don't. And so I'm the same way. Like now I do prefer like the AeroPress, which we use almost every day, over like a Keurig. But again, you know, it might be more the way the coffee is made than the actual coffee bean itself for me.
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm not brand loyal either, but I love a good French press coffee. Like there's just something to be said about it's like right there. It's super fresh. I just feel like it just enhances the flavor of the coffee. And it doesn't matter what the brand of coffee is. If it's French pressed, I'm in.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that. All right. We've got 2 more. At Frankie Perrin, If you only saw everything as blurs of color and you could choose one color scheme of 2 colors to see all the time, what would those 2 colors be?
Ooh.
Probably orange and red. Yeah, something like that. Something that
Nice.
screams the dawn or the dusk. Something that,
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Chris?
Shoot.
When you take off your glasses, what colors do you want to see?
2 immediately came to mind. Blue and green, and then as a backup, I would do teal and orange.
I love teal.
Ooh.
Yeah,
teal's
that's
nice.
a good one. Edward?
You know what? The first thing I thought of was blue and green.
There you go, man. Great mind.
Vancouver Titans.
Oh, here we go.
Jeez Louise. That's
Yeah, I
funny.
would go blue and green too, or maybe blue and yellow.
Nice.
You have a contrast, but they're still pretty vibrant colors. So I like that.
There you
I
go.
love that. We're learning so much about each other. This is
I
great.
know,
All
right?
Last one at Nate Engberg. Your average apocalypse is in its early days, so there will be a food shortage soon, but most items are still available. What one item are you running to the grocery store to stock up on so that you have a 10-year supply of it? For me, it's La Victoria green sauce because it will make apocalypse food taste better.
That's smart. That's really
that's
smart.
awesome. That's so funny.
Shoot.
Oh, I love this. All right, so early apocalypse, food shortage soon. What do you run into at the grocery store?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
I mean,
Probably. Go ahead.
I'm going canned goods, grab a can opener and as many canned goods as I can. And I wouldn't mind a little SpaghettiOs from here and there from time to time, because that would be, I could go through the apocalypse with some SpaghettiOs, no problem.
What say you, Edward, since you cook?
Wow. See, my first gut reaction was to say coffee, but it's not going to last me forever. So in that case, I'll go Twinkies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You try to die before the shortage?
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely.
Those things will last forever.
Yeah, they will.
Yep. They will.
So
Chris?
my head originally went same kind of as Router's, like something that would last the longest. So I was thinking canned goods, whatever it is. It could be chili, it could be vegetables, it could be whatever. Something in cans because that's going to last me the longest amount of time and I can preserve it or like ration it out slowly. But if the apocalypse is starting and I know it's the apocalypse and I've just, well, heck, it's over. It's giving up hope. I'm getting as much beer as I can because I'm going to make it. I'm just going to ease my way on out.
Nice.
That is hilarious.
I like that.
The last stomach pump of the apocalypse goes to Chris McCracken.
That's right.
If the apocalypse is happening, I'm going to be passed out through it.
That's right.
Exactly. I mean, you're doomed. Might as well make it a little enjoyable.
That is really.
My boy go wake up with a crazy hangover. Like, what happened? Where is everybody?
What did I do?
Yeah,
Exactly. What did I do?
Oh, you're gnawing off my arm, zombies. I can't even feel it. What up?
What happened last night? Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna save because I know we're running out of time. I'm gonna save some more questions for next week. Thank you everybody for
thank you.
your questions. We appreciate it.
Yes.
And there you have it.
Thank you so much. So the question of the week for you guys is, I mentioned it earlier, but a lot of people are struggling with the final season of Game of Thrones. There's been a petition that's been written up for people for them to rewrite. I think it's been signed by like 500,000 people or something crazy. Because people can't stand not to complain. And so I wondered, could a quote unquote bad ending ruin a good to great game for you? Chris, could a bad ending, and I put bad in quotes because not everybody's saying Game of Thrones is bad. I haven't watched even an episode of it, but can a bad ending ruin a good game for you? Because everybody said Game of Thrones is one of the best stories ever told.
Yeah.
I don't think it could ruin it because it's even more so in gaming than with movies or television. I feel like if I enjoyed all the rest of the experience up until the ending, like that's still memorable and even something I may want to repeat later on. So I don't think I've never played a game where it had an ending that I didn't like, where I felt like it totally ruined my experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, but maybe I just haven't had a bad enough of an ending.
Yeah.
What say you, Edward?
Yeah, I'm with Chris. I didn't like the ending of Far Cry 5, and at first I was like, did this just ruin the game? But now when I look back at the game, I'm like, man, that game was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
There
and
you
I
go.
think of the gameplay that I had. So I would say no.
Tim?
Yeah, no for me, because like I agree, Far Cry 5 was, and then even Shadow of Mordor, the first one, like the ending was a little like, but it didn't matter because I had so much fun with that game, and so I think the overall experience is fine, and I feel the exact same way with Game of Thrones. It is one of the best stories, and in my opinion, just really quickly, in my opinion, they just rushed the season because they were moving on to other things, and so it's all tied up in a nice bow at the end, and like all of the previous setup and build up is just gets kind of really thrown together very quickly. So I still would go back and see that and watch that series again. I have, and I would do it again because it's fantastic.
There you go. I'm gonna say that. So, gosh, I'm such a story guy that I can definitely be extremely disappointed, and a bad ending leave a bad taste in my mouth for the whole game. And I understand that I wouldn't go as far to say as going back, yeah, the game sucked because the ending. However, I remember when Ed was explaining the end of the Telltale's The Walking Dead to us, it made me not want to go invest my time with that ending.
Oh, wow. Right.
And so I think knowing the ending ahead of time made me not want to play the game.
I can agree with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
One
It's
I
like,
totally
well,
agree with.
if I know the ending, I'm not going to bother.
No, but I mean, if I knew the ending of The Last of Us, I still would want to go play The Last of Us. It's not about just knowing the ending. It's about the ending being disappointing.
Yeah. But
and Ed, you didn't even come across like it was disappointing, by the way. I just remember hearing it like, oh, man, really? They could have cranked that thing up to 11.
Right.
And it seemed like they chose not to.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think. Can a bad ending ruin a game for you? And then the step further, if you know a bad ending, would it make you not even want to play the game in the first place? We will talk about it next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Not 249, but 349 in the books, even though 249's been in the books for a long time.
Right.
I'm Gabe Patillo. That's Tim Router. That's Ed Placencia. That's Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games, and we are up out this thing. Big!